Hello everyone and welcome to my Beyond the Gates CBS Update 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Fairmont Crest is about to become an absolute war zone because the Belle Claires arriving with full social season arrogance couldn't come at a worse time for the Duprees. Emotions are already hanging by a thread across nearly every major family. And now the cotillion drama threatens to ignite old money rivalries, social humiliation, class warfare, and deeply personal insecurities all at once. Add Joey Armstrong's increasingly dangerous behavior, Donnell's emotional bombshell, Anita's uncertain future after chemotherapy, and the growing instability surrounding Samantha, and the entire social ecosystem of Beyond the Gates is entering one of its messiest stretches yet. What makes these latest spoilers especially dangerous is that they aren't just about isolated incidents anymore. Every conflict now carries emotional history underneath it. Every insult hits harder. Every betrayal feels more personal. Every public confrontation risks exposing private wounds that characters have spent months trying desperately to hide. And the Belle Claires? They specialize in exactly that kind of cruelty. Anastasia Bella Claire, entering the picture automatically shifts the energy of the cotillion storyline because she represents a very specific kind of elite social power, the polished, smiling, deeply judgmental upper-crust manipulation that thrives on appearances, hierarchy, and humiliation disguised as tradition. Unlike louder antagonists who openly threaten people, the Belle Claires weaponize status itself. That makes them uniquely dangerous to Samantha Richardson Smith. Because Samantha is already emotionally raw. She's frustrated at home. She feels boxed in by double standards. She's increasingly aware of how differently she's treated compared to Tyrell. And now, just as cotillion season is supposed to symbolize confidence, elegance, and social acceptance, she's being targeted by women who likely view vulnerability as entertainment. That could become devastating. Samantha isn't weak, but she's at an age where public embarrassment cuts especially deep. Teenagers process humiliation with terrifying intensity, and the Belle Claires almost certainly know how to exploit insecurity while maintaining plausible deniability. That's what people like Anastasia excel at, making someone feel small while technically remaining proper. But they may be underestimating Samantha badly. Because Samantha has inherited traits from both Martin and Smitty, and that combination is volatile when provoked. From Martin, she inherited pride, sharp instincts, and emotional intensity. From Smitty, she inherited observational intelligence and a refusal to quietly tolerate injustice. Samantha may initially feel wounded by the Belle Claires' bullying, but eventually she's likely to push back hard. And Nicole absolutely will not tolerate anyone humiliating her family. That's what makes Nicole's upcoming clash with Anastasia and Chessy so explosive. Nicole has spent most of recent months emotionally overwhelmed by family crises, romantic confusion, and the lingering fallout from Ted and Leslie. But social warfare? That's a battlefield she understands perfectly. Nicole Dupree knows how elite circles operate. She knows the coded language, the subtle insults, the performative smiles, the passive-aggressive traditions, the social ranking systems hidden underneath etiquette. And unlike Samantha, Nicole has years of experience surviving those dynamics. That means Anastasia may walk into this assuming she can dominate the room socially, only to discover Nicole can play that game just as ruthlessly when necessary. The difference is that Nicole usually prefers diplomacy until someone targets her children. Once Samantha becomes collateral damage, diplomacy may disappear fast. The cotillion itself is becoming a fascinating backdrop for all this because the event symbolizes appearances more than authenticity. Everyone dresses elegantly. Everyone behaves appropriately. Everyone pretends to embody grace and refinement. Meanwhile, underneath, families are imploding. Marriages are deteriorating. Secrets are multiplying. Criminal enterprises are expanding. Affairs are emotionally reigniting. Teenagers are rebelling. Political ambitions are becoming dangerous. The contrast is deliciously soapy. And Samantha's frustration with hypocrisy fits perfectly into that environment. She already feels like the adults in her life apply different standards depending on convenience. Watching wealthy socialites enforce even more arbitrary expectations could push her toward outright rebellion. Tyrell and Jessica's relationship already exposed fault lines within the Richardson-Smith household. Samantha correctly recognized that she's monitored more heavily than her brother and that resentment hasn't magically disappeared. The Belclairs bullying her now could intensify her sense that the world constantly scrutinizes girls differently than boys. That emotional buildup matters because teenage rebellion on soaps rarely stays contained. Once younger characters begin feeling misunderstood or humiliated, they start making dangerous choices trying to reclaim power or independence. And right now, Fairmont Crest is overflowing with dangerous influences. Joey Armstrong especially. Because Joey's trouble with Vanessa could become one of the most important developments of the entire month. For weeks, Vanessa has been sliding deeper into Joey's world while convincing herself she still controls the relationship dynamic. But lately, cracks have begun forming in that fantasy. Anita openly disapproves. Nicole remains cautious. Danny senses danger. Even Joey himself occasionally reveals flashes of manipulation that Vanessa tries not to examine too closely. Now apparently Joey has crossed a line serious enough to put him in genuine hot water with her. That matters because Vanessa's loyalty has been one of Joey's greatest assets. She humanizes him, softens him socially, provides emotional legitimacy, connects him to Fairmont Crest's most influential circles. Without Vanessa, Joey risks becoming isolated again, and isolated Joey may become significantly more dangerous. The biggest question is what exactly he's done. If it's related to the plasma ring, then Vanessa may finally be getting a glimpse of how deep Joey's connections actually go. Up until now, she's mostly experienced the charismatic, protective, emotionally attentive version of him. But the deeper viewers look into Joey's operations, the clearer it becomes that he thrives on leverage, secrets, and morally questionable arrangements. Vanessa has tolerated a lot. But certain lines may fundamentally change how she sees him. Especially if innocent people become endangered. Remember, Vanessa likes danger in controlled doses. She enjoys intensity, rebellion, and emotional unpredictability. But there's a difference between dating a morally gray casino owner and realizing the man you love may be connected to violence, trafficking, blackmail, or systemic criminal corruption. That realization could terrify her. At the same time, Joey himself may underestimate Vanessa's limits. He's grown increasingly comfortable believing she'll adapt to anything because she's already compromised so much emotionally. But people often discover boundaries only after they've been crossed. If Joey's latest move threatens Ashley, Smitty, Jacob, Grayson, or even Samantha indirectly through the plasma ring storyline, Vanessa may suddenly find herself forced to choose between love and morality. And Joey does not seem like a man who handles rejection gracefully. Meanwhile, Donnell McBride receiving emotional news feels like one of the quieter spoilers that could actually carry huge emotional weight. Donnell often operates adjacent to bigger explosions rather than at their center, which means when the show singles him out emotionally, it usually matters. The fact that the shocker leaves him emotional suggests something deeply personal rather than merely surprising. There are several possibilities. It could involve family history, a romantic revelation, a career opportunity, a betrayal, or something connected to identity and belonging. What makes Donnell compelling is that he often projects confidence externally while carrying significant emotional sensitivity internally. Characters like that tend to deliver some of the show's most powerful emotional scenes because viewers don't always expect vulnerability from them. And vulnerability is becoming a major theme across the canvas lately. Even Randy Parker is starting to crack emotionally. Mona's influence over Randy is fascinating because she's essentially attempting to pull humanity back out of a man who's spent years emotionally numbing himself to survive Joey's world. Randy has long operated like someone who accepted moral compromise as inevitable. Violence, intimidation, criminal loyalty, these became routine. But Mona keeps challenging that identity. Church invitations might seem small superficially, but symbolically they represent something much larger: redemption. The possibility that Randy could still become better than the life he's built. That's why her words affecting him in a big way matters. Because morally conflicted henchmen often become unpredictable at critical moments. If Randy starts questioning Joey more seriously, the entire power structure around Joey could weaken. And Joey cannot afford instability right now, with Smitty investigating, Vanessa becoming suspicious, and Vernon openly hostile. Ironically, Joey's biggest threat may not be external enemies anymore. It may be the gradual erosion of loyalty inside his own circle. Speaking of emotional erosion, Anita Dupree's storyline remains one of the emotional anchors of the entire show. Her chemotherapy journey has affected virtually every family member differently. Some became protective, others became reflective, some reconnected emotionally because of fear, others avoided confronting mortality altogether. Now that treatment is ending, everyone desperately wants relief. But soaps rarely deliver uncomplicated relief. The meeting with Dr. Bauer about next steps feels ominous precisely because the show is emphasizing uncertainty rather than celebration. Cancer storylines often shift psychologically after treatment ends because patients suddenly lose the structured certainty of active fighting and enter the terrifying unknown of monitoring, recurrence risk, and long-term consequences. Anita has been incredibly strong throughout this process. But strength doesn't eliminate fear. And Vernon being by her side matters enormously because their marriage has quietly become one of the show's emotional pillars. Even while other relationships crumble under secrets and temptation, Vernon and Anita continue choosing each other repeatedly. That consistency is rare in soaps, which unfortunately means viewers should probably be nervous. Stable couples often become emotional targets for tragedy, health scares, or external manipulation because they anchor the emotional balance of the canvas. If Anita receives concerning news about recurrence risk, future treatments, or lingering complications, it could emotionally devastate not only Vernon but the entire Dupree family. Especially Danny and Nicole. Both daughters have already been forced to confront terrifying genetic and health realities because of Anita's diagnosis. Danny's BRCA mutation storyline still hangs emotionally over the family. Even when characters aren't discussing it constantly, the fear exists underneath everything. Cancer changed this family permanently. That emotional backdrop also explains why so many characters are making emotionally impulsive choices lately. Mortality changes priorities. People become nostalgic, reckless, romantic, resentful, desperate, or emotionally honest in ways they weren't before. Look at Nicole. Her fantasies about Ted escalated dramatically after Anita's illness, intensified family reflection and emotional vulnerability. Mortality forces people to reconsider unfinished emotional business. Nicole realizing she may still love Ted isn't random timing. It's psychologically connected to the emotional upheaval happening around her family. The same applies to Leslie. Watching Ted lovingly connect with Eva triggered regret because life suddenly feels fragile. Opportunities feel temporary. Time feels precious. That's why Leslie abruptly realized Marcel isn't her forever boo. Emotional distractions lose power when people begin confronting what they truly want. And what Leslie wants is Ted, which remains catastrophic. Because Ted himself seems emotionally vulnerable to nostalgia too. His interactions with Nicole continue carrying emotional warmth that neither of them fully understands how to manage. Shanice may provide stability, but history creates gravitational pull. The closer a cotillion season gets, the more likely emotional tensions will spill publicly. These events always function as emotional pressure cookers on soaps because everyone gathers in formal settings while privately carrying explosive secrets. One confrontation, one insult, one overheard conversation, one jealous glance, suddenly everything detonates. And currently there are enough emotional landmines in Fairmont Crest to destroy multiple families simultaneously. Consider the overlapping chaos. Nicole still fantasizes about Ted. Leslie wants Ted back. Shanice senses emotional complications. Joey manipulates everyone quietly. Vanessa may be losing trust in Joey. Smitty investigates dangerous criminals. Jacob's cover grows unstable. Grayson is trapped and bleeding emotionally. Ashley is emotionally overwhelmed. Leah Whitmore remains terrifyingly calm. Bill grows suspicious of Haley. Haley keeps escalating lies. Chelsea questions everything. Martin wants political power despite dangerous secrets. Samantha feels targeted and misunderstood. The Belclairs are provoking conflict. Anita's future remains uncertain. No one is emotionally stable right now. And instability creates opportunity for disaster. One especially interesting dynamic is how the younger generation increasingly mirrors the emotional dysfunction of the adults. Samantha's frustration with hypocrisy echoes Nicole's frustrations with Ted. Tyrell sneaking around mirrors hidden adult relationships. Chelsea's skepticism toward Haley reflects Danny's distrustful instincts. Ashley defending Grayson despite warning signs mirrors Vanessa rationalizing Joey. The show is subtly exploring how emotional patterns repeat across generations. Even Joey's influence operates generationally now. He's affecting Vanessa romantically, Martin politically, Smitty investigatively, and indirectly threatening younger characters through the plasma ring chaos. That makes him arguably the show's most dangerous long-term force. Not because he's physically violent. Because he infiltrates emotional vulnerabilities. He offers what people crave most. Protection. Power. Validation of solutions. Control. Then slowly converts dependency into leverage. Vanessa still thinks she's participating in a passionate romance. Martin thinks he's navigating political pragmatism. Randy thinks he's surviving. But Joey is quietly collecting influence everywhere. Vernon recognizes that danger clearly now. That's why his warnings carry such emotional urgency. Vernon understands men like Joey because he's likely spent decades watching powerful people weaponize charm and obligation. His protective instincts around Martin are not paranoia, they're experience. The terrifying possibility is that Vernon may already be too late. Because Martin's debt to Joey isn't merely financial or logistical anymore. It's psychological. Martin knows Joey helped protect devastating secrets before. That creates a bond rooted in fear and obligation. And fear-based loyalty is incredibly difficult to escape. Especially for ambitious people. Which returns us again to one of the show's core themes. People sacrificing pieces of themselves trying to preserve the lives they think they want. Martin sacrifices integrity for political survival. Nicole sacrifices emotional clarity for stability. Vanessa sacrifices caution for passion. Ashley sacrifices safety for love. Bill sacrifices logic for ego. Haley sacrifices morality for security. Leslie sacrifices dignity for obsession. Smitty sacrifices safety for truth. Joey sacrifices humanity for control. Every character is bargaining with themselves emotionally. And the cost keeps rising. The Belclairs entering this environment now feels almost symbolic elegant. Social predators arriving just as everyone's emotional defenses weaken. They may think they're simply stirring cotillion drama, but they're walking into a community already primed for emotional collapse. Which means even small conflicts could spiral catastrophically fast. One insult to Samantha could trigger family warfare. One public humiliation could expose hidden tensions. One confrontation could reveal dangerous secrets. One emotional outburst could permanently damage relationships. And in classic soap fashion, the people trying hardest to maintain appearances are often closest to implosion. Fairmont Crest currently looks glamorous on the surface. Underneath, everybody's cracking. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe my channel without missing any update.